Welcome to IWC Dev Diaries, featuring Agent Coyle and Ruben Covington. Today's discussion, Rift Runs.
Hi everyone, Agent Coyle here, and today I'm sitting down with our lead game designer, Ruben Covington, to give you an update and some details on the much anticipated Rift Runs feature, which brings an exciting draft game mode back to Infinity Wars. Welcome, Ruben.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Alright, so for those who don't know, Rift Runs are a draft mode which we are developing for Infinity Wars Classic, where you build your deck from randomized packs and you do the best with what you're able to put together. It makes playing far more interesting as decks aren't hyper-focused or perfected and adaptability is really tested. Now, there are some changes and tweaks from the original Infinity Wars coming to Rift Runs, so why don't you start us off by telling us how it'll all work, Ruben?
So, you start your Rift Runs by drafting your deck. You'll be given 5 cards to choose your first commander from to begin with, all of which will be either 1 purity or factionless cards. There will then be higher priority to draft higher rarity cards and popular commander cards. Once you pick your first commander, you'll get another 2 choices, and the purity of the chosen commanders will influence the following commanders you see. For example, if you draft a Flame Dawn commander at 1 purity as your first pick, it means you'll be likely to see 2 purity Flame Dawn cards such as Claw in one of your next picks. And once all 3 of your commanders are locked in, you'll draft 40 cards from 4 options at a time based on your final available purities.
Once you have your finished Rift Run deck, you'll get to keep playing until you hit the winning threshold of 8 wins or the losing threshold of 3 losses, and your total wins will dictate what prizes you will receive. While our first version of this will be relatively rudimentary, there are other things we are looking to add to the Rift Run experience, such as the ability to purchase the completed deck you played with at the end of your Rift Run, or the ability to queue up for both Rift Runs and normal games at the same time when the queue times are a little long, so you aren't stuck waiting for games.
Let's talk about some other points of difference between the old IW1 draft mode and the refined Rift Runs experience. Firstly, players will have a small number of rerolls to avoid ending up being forced to choose from multiple poor options. And though you won't have enough rerolls to hunt for specific cards, but if you're caught between a rock and a hard place, it should make deck building a little more flexible. Next up, we're going to have a wider range of choices from your initial commanders compared to IW1. And finally, card draft rarity will be disconnected from the rarity of the cards found in the packs, meaning we can make changes that affect just draft mode, just Rift Run, and can move with more freedom in terms of balance for the whole format.
When we release our first functioning versions, you'll be having free Rift Runs for all to catch as many bugs as possible, and once the game mode is looking nice and stable, we'll be bringing back Rift Run tokens and being relatively generous with our players who have been most active during the testing period to thank them for their effort and support. If you care purely about draft mode, you can get to a self-sustaining point as long as you win enough draft games to play nothing but Rift Runs if you so choose. And we will be bringing out stamped rewards for the draft queue specifically once things are stable enough.
While the competitive ranked experience of IW has a lot of focus on comparative skills, I think that we want to take a more casual approach to Rift Runs, at least for the time being, with a leaderboard showing the total number of 8 run wins for players who have achieved their lifetime next to a number of total runs attempted. And rewards won't be given out to the leaderboard specifically, rather the players at the end of their Rift Runs. We'll be re-evaluating this approach in 6 months to a year, see what our player base wants the most.
We asked you, our community, what feature you wanted to see first, and Rift Runs were a very strong first place. However, since then, we've only really shown off our design article and 1 poll to our Patreon users. Now, we don't like giving timeframes for things generally, but with how large this project is, I feel we might need to be a bit more upfront so players can set their expectations accordingly. Our current timeframe is estimating that Rift Runs will be publicly available in Q2 of 2023, which will likely be around the same time as the next set of cards after Revelations. As a small independent team trying to bring about Death to Pay to Win, we're tackling a huge undertaking, and with features as large and complex as Rift Runs, it could feel like we're putting everything we have into something for months and not having a lot to show for it to our community. Once we start having more promising visuals and videos, we will be very excitedly sharing those with all of you, as we know how excited you are for the return for this anticipated game mode. It's personally my favourite way to play Infinity Wars, so I'm extra excited and focused on getting this to you guys ASAP.
If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below or in our Discord server, as we're super active over there and always happy to chat to our amazing community.
Thanks everyone for watching, and as a final reminder, the Kickstarter for Revelations goes live very, very, very soon. So you can sign up for the waitlist using the top link in the description and go into the draw to win some cool prizes at the same time. Thank you so much for your support, and we'll be seeing you real soon, Riff Runners.